You're listening to 1015 KOCI LPFM Newport Beach, Costa Mesa. Welcome to Sunday Brunch, underwritten by Classic Yacht Excursions and on the web at classicyachtexcursions.com. And now, the hosts of Sunday Brunch, Tom Johnson and Lynn Selich.
And we're back at Sunday Brunch with Tom and Lynn, and we're live here at Explorocean on the Balboa Peninsula. How are you doing, Mr. Johnson?
I'm doing great, and we have a couple of guests with us. The first guest is Tom Pollock. Tom is with the Explorocean.
CEO.
Nice place to have to come to work every day.
It is tough, isn't it, huh, Tom?
Boy, I decided I'd take the easy route rather than fighting the peninsula traffic. Came down, parked on the island, took the ferry across, and it was just like, gosh, does life get any better than this?
That ferry, isn't that great? You know that 1.6 million people a year ride that ferry boat over here to the
blows me
Balboa
away.
Peninsula. Isn't that amazing?
It's amazing.
Just back and forth all day long. It's so unassuming, but it really is a great little mode of transportation, really unique. I saw this, there was only one car coming across with me, but this gentleman got out of the car and he had his little baby boy with him, and he held him up, and I think his little kid was just so excited about being on this boat with the car and everything like that. It was great to see. So we're also with Dr. Wendy.
Good morning.
And Wendy, what is Dr. Wendy?
Dr. Wendy, I'm a curriculum specialist. I've got my doctorate at USC, and my general focus was curriculum.
Very good.
She's our very talented director of education here at Explorocean.
Great. And you have a big event coming up this afternoon.
We do.
The Simply Sustainable Seafood Fest. Talk to me a little bit about what's going to go on this afternoon and how people can get involved in it.
Well, we have a panel discussion starting at 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock, and then from 4 to 6, we're going to be serving seafood, beer, wine. It's open to the public. You can buy a ticket. You can still buy a ticket at the door for your listeners that are out there that are local and they're looking for something to do on a Sunday afternoon. Today, we're celebrating World Ocean Day. It's a UN-picked holiday globally around the world. Many of the nonprofits that work with ocean-related activities are celebrating that today. So we're doing our part here in the Balboa Peninsula.
And there's going to be not only a discussion, but that's going to take place at 3 o'clock. And Dr. Wendy, you're going to be part of that panel. And tell us about what you're going to be talking about.
So here at Explorocean, our main focus is on the 7 principles of ocean literacy. And within that, the 6th principle, you guys have yours on your table here, but if you're listening, you can also find them online, the principles of ocean literacy. So the 6th has to do with the interconnectedness between humans and the ocean and how we rely on each other. So I'll speak to that and also some of the clubs, activities, after-school programs, and in-school programs that we have that have an ecosystem focus, which of course relates to sustainable seafood.
And one of the things that I find really interesting about the program is you're going to be talking about one of my favorite places locally is Pearson's Port, who is, if you've never been to Pearson's Port, it's a great local fish shack just on Bayside Drive, and you can get fresh fish there. You never know quite what they're going to have, but it's always fresh, and it's farmed locally, as far as I know. They go out, and it's all, and then also over the Catalina Sea Ranch, which I don't think a lot of people know about.
No, they don't. Catalina Sea Ranch people, they want to farm Mediterranean mussels offshore, right off around Huntington Beach Flats area, and she's going to become talking about that, and that's going to be commercially grown, farm-raised mussels. And, in America right now, we're at a net loss for seafood. We import way more seafood than we export, and they're looking to help turn that around with sustainably farmed seafood product.
Well, and I think there's some countries, too, that you want to kind of be careful where you get your seafood, correct?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Well, I find watching TV in the evenings with all the cable channels and things now that it's kind of good news and bad news about the oceans and things like that, because there's a lot more programming that exposes you a lot more to what's going on under the water and everything, but then it also tells you about a lot of the problems that human beings have created by overfishing. One of my favorite shows is this show called Wild Tuna. And, it's a great show to watch about tuna, but it talks to you about how, some of the fishing has gone overboard and everything, and we're actually destroying some of the environments. So that's kind of something that you're looking at overall from a standpoint of the ocean.
Well, we bring awareness. I think that's our Explorocean is education, and there's a lot of groups out there that influence legislation that do terrific work, like Oceana, for instance. They're United States. They just received a $50 million donation from Michael Bloomberg to influence legislation in 25 countries that probably farm 80% of the seafood that we eat, and they're looking to bring those countries up to standard, so that way, what we can continue. The oceans feed 1 billion people a day with a growing population. Certainly, it's a manageable resource. It's not unlimited. We teach the kids that come to Explorocean, we teach them about that.
Well, and demand, I think, is up because people are eating healthier diets, more Mediterranean-style diets with, salmon and tuna and all that. And so when the demand goes up, obviously,
That's right.
we have to find other areas to find fresh and clean and healthy seafood.
Tom, talk to us about the involvement that Explorocean has during the week with school children and such.
Well, I think Wendy's probably the best one to talk about that. Wendy?
And you hit on a few of my favorite places when you spoke about your ferry ride, because it's going to relate a little bit to what I say. So one of our most exciting programs that we're working on right now is an ecotech program. And what we do is we work with middle school students. We just received a grant to fund this program. And what the kids do is they learn about ocean threats. So you just mentioned that, we're seeing these things on TV and, the numbers are so big. We want to give kids a voice in the conversation and also, empower them. So their job in this ecotech program is to create underwater robots where they film ocean threats. We're actually going to Catalina tomorrow. Yesterday we kayaked through the Back Bay and filmed some of the things that we found, everything from shoes to tires, plastic bags. So these kids document their experience so that they're telling their story from their own perspective. And at the end of the experience, they've documented not only the ocean threats, but also the solutions. So they're filming themselves, retrieving the garbage and how to do it in a way that doesn't harm the environment more.
I think it's interesting that, especially around Newport Beach, you notice that there's always the sign around the storm drains and everything that say, don't drop stuff in because it'll go to the ocean and everything. But stuff travels from
all over
inland out here all the time, and it's just a great reminder of people that they need to take better care because whether it's throwing that cigarette butt down or something else, it gets into our storm drains and ends up unfortunately coming all the way down here.
That's right.
Well, and that's why we also focus our programs on kids that are not necessarily close to the ocean. So when our students are participating in the ecotech program, they come not only to this area, to the Back Bay, to Catalina, but we also have them clean up the local parks and even their school. And the kids are kind of outraged at the trash that they see that they really just didn't notice before because they weren't really thinking of it from a bigger picture perspective. So the mantra is that the ocean begins at your front door, and wherever your front door is, it leads here.
So that brings up an interesting point. You serve children from all over Southern California, correct? Not just our local schools.
Yes.
That's right, correct. We have kids come here from all over Orange County, Anaheim, Garden Grove. We had last year we had kids from Olive Crest coming from Riverside on a bus at 5 in the morning to come down to Explorocean. We have such a wonderful location here in the Balboa Peninsula. We have the estuary, the 700-acre estuary. We have the beach. We have spectators in the background yelling
People
and screaming
having fun
in the fun zone. They are having fun in the fun zone.
It's called the fun zone for a reason.
I think they might be on the Ferris wheel up there having a great time, And so we have a great location, and so we get so many visitors down here, and so we're definitely open to the greater Southern California community. We're open 7 days a week at Explorocean.
And I also want to talk about the fun because we're sitting on the patio where the carousel used to be, and I think people have this kind of this misnomer about the fun zone and Explorocean and everything that the carousel got taken out. There's, part of history was taken out. But there's some fun stuff to do around here. Tom, talk to us about the different rides and everything. Explain with
Rest assured, the Ferris wheel's staying forever, okay? And what we did is we moved the rides down to the boardwalk where it was easier for us. We needed our patio for our Science Saturdays and our public programming. So instead, what we did, we replaced one ride with 4. I'm looking at Bert the Mechanical Bull Shark that kids
we were
love.
talking about that earlier.
I'm looking at Ocean Motion, a bungee ride with a young lady there bouncing up and down. We have our new fish pipe water slide ride, endless water slide that spins at 45 RPM. The kids love that. 2 at a time can ride. And it's not here yet, but we have a new ride called Gyro Extreme going in on next week. Oh, cool. And it's like basically simulating weightlessness in space or underwater. And so we push the fun zone to the boardwalk where it belongs, so people still have their fun zone here that they remember, and we're creating new memories. And at the same time, we have an elevated mission with Explorocean, teaching kids about the ocean from a science, technology, engineering, math perspective. And Wendy can tell you more about that.
So we use the courtyard now in a very fun way, we believe, through our Science Saturday programs, which is every Saturday from noon to 3. We offer hands-on activities to the public, and we try to position them in fun, challenging ways. So whether the kids are creating plankton models and competing to see who can sink the slowest, to becoming erosion engineers where they're designing cities that we flood, we have them compete against each other and their parents, and they're learning along the way and having a really good time.
One of the events that I went to recently was kind of a meet and greet where it was a little bit of a fundraiser that you had, and you had the adults actually do a really, really cool experiment. Tell me about that, because I participated and it was really fun.
So part of our underwater robotics program, we want to teach kids about electricity and the flow of electricity. So as a lead-in program or lead-in activity, we have a circuits or a conductor activity where the kids test different items to see if they're conductive or not. And they're really surprised to find things that, you know, they really hadn't thought about before, like apples and oranges and Play-Doh.
I had never thought about before.
And graphite. And so the way that we make it a challenge and interesting is we challenge kids to come up with the most creative circuit, including human beings and fruit and so on. And what we find is that they're very surprised, but what's really exciting is that they remember it several months later.
And then the other one was where we had to put things on a cork and get it to go like midway down in a little tank of water.
So again, that one relates to our underwater robotics program. You are aiming for neutral buoyancy, which is tough to do, but we challenge folks to create a model, and we relate it to plankton because plankton's a drifter.
Yes.
So we're trying to get you to drift right in the middle, which is tough to do. So the next best thing is to create a model that sinks the slowest using pretty much anything you can find.
Well, I don't know about, the tacks, the pipe cleaners, and I don't know about the kids, but I thought it was really fun, and I actually learned something new. So.
Well, I can tell you the kids love it, and the older kids love it as well. So we think it's exciting to see everybody playing and learning at the same time.
Yeah, it really was. It was fun for the adults to kind of get it hands-on. So.
Do you have a couple more minutes to stick with us?
We sure do.
We're going to throw it back to the studio. We're going to take a quick break. I want to come back and I want to talk again about the seafood fest that's going to go on this afternoon. Then I also want to talk about where Explorocean is going in the future. Mm-hmm. So we're going to come back. We're live on the Balboa Peninsula Explorocean Tom and Lynn's Sunday Brunch Show. We'll be back after this.
Come on back.
Hey there, everybody. I'm Steve Ray, host of The Green Orange, which airs every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. here on KOCI. The Green Orange is about our environment and your health. On The Green Orange, we talk to leaders from environmental, health, government, and business sectors. Learn what you can do to save Mother Earth and protect your family's health. The Green Orange is underwritten by Mesa Consolidated Water District. Mesa Water is dedicated to satisfying our community's water needs with environmentally friendly, clean, safe tap water that saves you money. Be sure to tune in every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. to The Green Orange.
Hey there, friend. You look like the kind of person can use a little pick-me-up now and again, and I got just the thing. It's Dr. Barry's Traveling Medicine and Blues Show. We got jump blues, swing blues, Chicago blues, you name it. An in-studio guest with stories and live music that'll blow your blues away. That's Dr. Barry's Traveling Medicine and Blues Show every Sunday afternoon from 1 to 3. Come on by. I'll be looking for you.
And we're back.
Live Sunday Brunch.
It's Tom and Lynn. It's
Beautiful
KOCI
Explorocean.
Yes, we're here on the harbor. And a beautiful day in the Balboa Fun Zone at Explorocean.
There are people bustling around, and if you're down by Explorocean, we're going to tell you that there's the Sustainable Seafood Fest this afternoon.
That's right.
And Tom, besides the educational with Tom Pollock and Wendy, Dr. Wendy Marshall, and both involved with Explorocean. So again, kind of run us through this event. You're going to have an educational program at 3, and then following that, you're going to have a little meet and greet and some food and such.
Yeah, we're going to have some sustainable seafood here put on by Harborside Grill right here in the pavilion is going to be serving the food today. The general public can come down. You can still buy tickets. There's membership price and a public price, so we encourage everyone to become members. foods as well.
So give me the explanation of sustainable seafood.
That's harvesting seafood in a way that you can keep doing it for decades on end and you don't run out, as a simple way to put it.
You know, years ago, I worked for this PR firm, and sustainable was not the word that it is today. Like, everybody knows it. Everybody knows what it means because of all the education and everything. And we actually did a man-on-the-street intercept in Santa Monica and asked people, what does sustainability mean to you? Or what does the word sustainable mean? And basically, nobody could tell us what it was. And that was like 15 years ago. Today, I think if we did the same, research, you would find that pretty much everybody knows what it is, and that's why this kind of education is so important.
Well, Tom and Dr. Wendy, I hope you can come back maybe the second hour.
Yeah, around 12:40ish.
And
that'd be great.
We'll talk. We'll get another reminder about this afternoon's event. We're back at Explorocean. I'm Tom Johnson, along with Lynn Sellich. Tom and Lynn's Sunday Brunch Show. We're live from Explorocean. There's some fun stuff going on this afternoon. We're back with Tom Pollock and Dr. Wendy Marshall, and remind our listeners once again what's going on here at Explorocean. We'll go to Dr. Wendy. You can tell us about the educational portion of the event that starts at 3 o'clock.
All right, well, today we're having our Sustainable Seafood Fest, and we're educating the public about what it means to choose sustainable seafood. And for my part, I'm going to focus on some of the things that we do with kids to help educate them.
And there's going to be some food and wine and all kinds of goodies
Speaking
that
of
people
food and
can
wine,
enjoy. Yes.
we just got some fabulous-looking ribs delivered to us by Tom, and it's from our neighbors next door here at
Barbecue.
At the barbecue.
Barbecue.
Barbecue, and they smell and they look so good.
Unbelievable. I went to grab one, and then I went to put my arm around David Beek so we could get a picture and everything. I thought, that might not go well with his white shirt. So
yeah, it's hard to eat ribs on the radio too.
yeah, but you know what? It's typical peninsula fare. You have great barbecue next door. You have the corn dog stand. If you want to go into a nice sit-down place, you have Newport Landing down the way, or you have the harbor side here at the pavilion. So
which is always going on.
We're right in the heart of things down here.
We are. It's amazing. A couple million people a year, I think, walk on this boardwalk every year. It's locals, it's tourists, it's people from all over the world. Summertime, 100 days of summer, Memorial Day to Labor Day is always the busiest down here. But then, the people are here all year round.
Now, Tom, we talked about this before, but give us your story on how you actually got involved in Explorocean. It's kind of a fascinating story with Roy Disney and everything.
Roy was a good friend of mine before he passed away, unfortunately. But, I had an idea for a film for Roy, and I ran a pro sailing class in Europe at the time, and I needed to find an owner that was just crazy enough to give a bunch of young high school kids the keys to a carbon fiber sailboat and race the Transpac race. The race has been going on for over 100 years. And so Roy loved the idea, along with Leslie, his wife, and they made the film, and they released it here at the Lido Theater. So when I talked to Roy, I go, hey, we need to do a fundraiser for somebody in town. And at the time, this was a nautical museum, and we talked about that. And so we called them up. We said, we want to do a fundraiser for you. It was the largest fundraiser in the history of the organization, and 700 people showed up, along with the Disney Corp. It was fabulous.
Yeah, we were there for that, and it was the screening of Morning Light, which is the movie you're talking about. And it was so neat to see those kids do the Transpac, because that is not as Dave was saying earlier, that's not a race for the faint of heart, and it was a very inspiring movie.
It was a traditional coming-of-age story, young kids doing something wholesome outdoors, and Roy and Leslie made that whole come alive, and it was just a fabulous film.
And all the kids had different backgrounds.
Okay, so then you get done with that, and then where does Explorocean come into the scene?
Well, they bought the property in 2005. It's a city block down here, between Palm and Washington, and includes the building, a 55-car garage, the boardwalk, and a commercial marina out front. And so the board decided that they wanted to move away from the history aspect of what they were doing here in the fun zone and move more towards ocean, the environment, and kids' education. So they were transitioning anyway, and that's what attracted my attention. Okay. And I thought, that's a really, really neat project. I want to get involved.
And so today we can see it developing because there's an event coming this afternoon with the Sustainable Seafood Fest. But beautiful patio area out here. You've decorated it with a number of tables, fenced the area off and everything, so you can tell that a party's happening here this afternoon. Is Explorocean now a place that people can use for major events and things like that?
We have event rentals all the time here. We have many times the dancers for the high schools come here. So any teacher out there, a principal listening. We do event rentals here all the time. We'll have 1,200 kids come to our property.
Wow.
500 kids, 700 kids, at a time. Public schools, homeschool groups. We get them from trade groups occasionally. So we have a corporation. You're looking for a kind of a different outing, something that's not a hotel ballroom. We can accommodate you.
Well, and you are accommodating us because I look in front of us, and this is going to get messy here, Lynn, because
I know.
I believe we just had 2 Balboa bars
Yes.
delivered to us, complete with the nuts and everything. So now we have barbecued ribs, Balboa bars. We're ready to go. And then this afternoon, of course, the sustainable seafood.
I know. I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, wow, how can I get a little bite of that before we...
How do I go from the ribs to the Balboa bar?
Yeah, that was really nice.
It certainly looks great.
They're so popular.
We're going to have the educational part of sustainable seafood, which is such an important part of just life moving forward, because we've done so much. And maybe not as much the United States, but just the oceans and everything are parts of the world that are attacked by many different countries and harvested and probably over harvested in a lot of instances and everything. And this sustainable seafood discussion is about the long-term benefits of the ocean and growing our own seafood and keeping that going.
That's right. It's a resource that we all need, we all depend on. Andrew Sharpless, the CEO of Oceana, wrote a great book called The Perfect Protein and talked about how much more efficient it is to farm sustainable seafood than it is for cattle, beef, and what goes into all that, all the energy required to that, plus all the CO2 emissions. So the ocean is very much a vital role of our civilization and our economy here in California.
I wanted to ask the doctor, do we know the effect that what happened in Japan is going to have on the Pacific, as when the nuclear power plant was destroyed and they had that tsunami and all of that, not only the radioactive material, but all of that, everything that got sucked back out to the ocean? How's that affecting our, the seafood there?
Well, that's certainly something that we address as new information comes out. As far as the kids are concerned, however, we kind of take a bigger, more global look at things. And we do look at case studies from time to time. But what we find when we're working with kids is if they sort of self-select the topics that they're most interested in studying, whether it's ocean acidification or derelict fishing gear, they tend to own it a little bit more and be the best spokespeople for it.
Sure.
So while we do, we're good consumers of current research, we don't produce current research as much as we, use it, and then we ask children to interpret it and then share their own perspectives on it.
Gotcha.
We're going to be doing something July 1. We're going to add a submarine to our waterfront.
Oh, that's
for all
right.
the listeners out there, okay? And that submarine's going to exit the harbor and turn left and go down off to the marine protected zones right off Corona del Mar to all the kelp beds. So again, we can give people an awareness of the ocean in a vessel, 49 passengers.
Wow.
Okay, on July 1, and that'll be available on our waterfront to come check out.
Now that's kind of like the glass bottom boat in Catalina?
But better, because you get to go underwater in a 45-degree view, and it's narrated.
It's free flowing. It's not on a track or anything.
No, it's free flowing. It's an actual boat that travels throughout the harbor, 49-passenger, Coast Guard captain, very safe. And so rather than having to pay all the money to go to Catalina to do it, they have a couple over there. You can do it right here and learn what's going on right off Corona del Mar.
Yeah, the kelp beds are they're extensive over there. If you've ever looked, and they're protected, correct?
Now, Dr. Wendy, give me a couple of examples. I'm sure you get kids all different ages that come here through their programs. Give me a typical program of, say, an elementary school program where, a teacher brings or several teachers bring their kids here. What can they expect during that day?
What they can expect from Explorocean is that we will teach the standards that they're held accountable for from an ocean perspective, which is kind of exciting for kids. So, for example, in elementary school, kids need to learn about weather and climate and erosion and ecosystems. Well, when they come here, they can expect to do hands-on activities that position those concepts in problems. So I mentioned the erosion engineers activity earlier today. In that case, they're building these cities and we flood them. Well, the terms that they use, when they're tested on erosion, they're typically focusing specifically on vocabulary, but maybe not how it works in real life.
Sure.
So here they get real life experiences. Then we also take them out on the boat, show them Pirates Cave over there. They can see erosion in real life.
Sure.
So what they're getting is real world applications of concepts that they're held accountable for teaching, and kids are held accountable for learning. But it's such a motivating backdrop here. And then the other thing I wanted to mention is just our location alone. We're just absolutely surrounded by science. You know, we're on a peninsula. We have the harbor in front of us. We have the ocean behind us. We have the estuary, the tide pools, Catalina Island. And we use all of these places in our instructional experiences.
And we're not taking a break either. This summer, we have some amazing summer camps that Dr. Marshall is going to be running. So if you're still looking for a place to put your kids for the summer, we have some wonderful programs. Wendy, you might want to talk a little bit about that.
So our signature program is the Underwater Robotics program, which uses the Sea Perch kit out of the Office of Naval Research.
Oh, wow.
We use the same kits that kids at Stanford and Cornell use to compete in every year in a national competition. We've built them with kids as young as 3rd grade. And so along the way, they're learning, of course, the science principles in play, but they also use them to collect plankton and film underwater using GoPro cameras, and it's really exciting. And then the other camp that we're really excited about that we launched this year after a successful innovation program with Newport Elementary is our maker camps. So we've jumped into the maker movement, and the idea here is using, you know, everything from pipe cleaners to 3D printers, cotton balls to laser cutters. We give kids the time, tools, and space to be innovators and creators, which is what we know is needed to develop the next generation of ocean explorers.
One thing I like particularly about Explorocean is, you know, we all live here by the water, yet we take it for granted, you know, that we have this beach or this bay or whatever, and it's, you know, it's not just by happenstance. I mean, there's a lot of maintenance that goes into the bay to keep it operational through dredging and things like that. You know, there's certain species and things that we need to watch.
Well, I was going to ask Dr. Wendy about this because recently it's been in the news about the starfish that have been losing their arms. Do you know anything about what's going on there?
Well, it was really interesting. I was actually working, one of the things that we pride ourselves in is that we're really good collaborators. So I was a judge just on Friday at a coastkeeper presentation where kids were tackling that issue. And in the room, you know, we had other dignitaries from the city of Newport and the coastkeepers, Fish and Wildlife, and, you know, and that was the very question they asked, and we're still trying to figure it out.
It's so bizarre that, you know, and I don't know if people like you have seen this ever before, if it's just something completely new, but it'll be interesting to find out. And this is kind of what the kids are made to understand. It's like, we don't know what's happening here, and so this is why, you know, this kind of education is so important.
Well, and they're so curious, but they're also so persistent. So I have a feeling that the kids are going to be the ones who find the answer to this.
I hope so.
I think it's
They're
great
smart
because
enough.
we're getting kids involved in it at a young age, and not only exposing it to them, but, you know, hopefully it gives them an opportunity to go away and do some studying and then come back and implement that in our much needed area.
I'm so impressed that you're actually eating a rib while we're on
I am eating a rib. We have our board up engineer Mike Boyle about 3/4 of the way through a Balboa bar, and he's showing no withdrawals from it. So he's going to town.
This is a multi-talented group here at KOCI.
Yeah, and I see Ann Chatelanas behind us, photographer extraordinaire. I think Ann's going to be doing the event this afternoon here, and again a big event. You've got the interactive sustainable seafood discussion that starts at 3, and then at 4 o'clock there's we're serving seafood, wine, beer, and you can still buy tickets at the door for the public that's out there thinking, what am I going to do today, 3, 4 o'clock?
Bring the kids out.
Bring the kids. We have some half-price rides for people that bring their kids out here on the boardwalk, so that's an attraction.
And those are already starting to get busy, which is fun to watch. It's fun to even just watch. If you could, even if you let the kids go on the rides, it's so fun to just sit here and watch them enjoying it. They're all just
I think I'm
having so much fun.
bull shark fan.
We're going to get you on that shark, Tom.
You're probably not going to get me on today, but maybe before my life is over. But,
well, how about next Sunday? You're going to be here for the next 3 Sundays in a row, so we'll get you then.
Well, that's a good point. We are going to be here thanks to your support. KOCI is going to be broadcasting Sunday Brunch live with Tom and Lynn every Sunday for the month of June from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. So feel free to put that on your calendar if you have nothing else to do and come down and see us and see all that they have going on here. What what else besides today's event? Are there some other events that are coming up throughout the month of June?
Yeah, there are. Go ahead, Wendy.
Okay, so I'm chomping at the bit because I'm so excited about this. On June 14th, we're having a day of making here at Explorocean where we're inviting families to come down. Everything is free, and they will spend time creating. So everything from coin batteries, LED lights, plankton models, ocean-themed activities. What we can promise is that parents and kids together will have a great Father's Day weekend down here on Saturday. It's from 1 to 4, and again, everything is free. And the whole idea is, again, that time, tools, and space to be creative. And what we find so exciting about it is kids surprise themselves, and they also surprise their parents.
Well, and that's a great family activity to do together, and just like get the cell phones out of everybody's hands and do something kind of hands-on and fun and educational and family-oriented.
And that's one of our goals here. We're to be an ocean literacy center and a cultural center. Not just a nonprofit, but a cultural center that appeals to all ages, not just K through 12. We focus a lot on that, but we also focus on our lecture series and adult programming too.
Well, your Explorocean is a nonprofit. How is your outreach for money, and where does the support come from?
Well, it's an established donor base that's been with us for 28 years.
And I'm sure you're open to new donors on that. And if so, where could they go to find out more information, get a tour of the facility, whatever? You
can call us anytime here at Explorocean on the Balboa Peninsula. The number is 949-675-8915. Our website is www.explorocean, only one E at the end of explore.org. And you can go find more information out there. You can also sign up to be a member, and you can also make a donation through PayPal or a credit card on the website.
It's a great website. It's super interactive. A lot going on.
And we're sitting right where the carousel used to be.
Yeah.
A beautiful patio out here.
Beautiful.
Now the buildings behind us. Give us a what's going on in the building, so we kind of have a sense of. We can see the patio and everything going on. We can see and feel the rides behind us. But take us inside the buildings and talk to.
Well, that's a great question. First, we have an ocean literacy center here, and Wendy can talk about that. We also have 2 labs here. We have one that was established and one that's brand new that we're building right now. Wendy?
So the Ocean Literacy Center, our educational platform, is the 7 essential principles of ocean literacy. And what we want people to experience when they walk through that gallery is a taste of each of those principles. So, you have your earth sciences, you have your physical, your life sciences. We teach everything from, how the ocean shapes the land all the way through how we explore. Ecosystems, we have a beautiful touch tank. But the biggest thing, our rules are, number 1, don't keep your hands to yourself. We want people to come in, and the kids get a little rattled by that.
Yeah, because it's usually the opposite.
Usually when we say that, they put their hands in their pocket. We said, no. We said, don't keep your hands to yourself. And we want them to touch. We want them to pour. We want them to spill. We just want them to interact. And then the other thing is that nobody waits in line. We have lots of little micro experiences so that kids can truly disperse and everybody can be busy and having fun rather than waiting. In our other space, our Maker Lab, that's I like to look at it as, and this is probably free advertising, but a Hobby Lobby plus Radio Shack.
Yeah.
If they just smashed into each other, that's what you'd find. Everything from wires and circuits to, fabrics and e-textiles and all kinds of things. So that's where we run our Maker program.
It's like a mini Discovery Science Center that the kids get hands-on.
Now we're with Dr. Wendy Marshall, Tom Pollock from Explorocean. Dr. Wendy, give us your background and how you got involved here at Explorocean.
So I got involved with Explorocean. Just being in the community, I live in Huntington Beach, so I was familiar with it when it was the Newport Harbor Nautical Museum.
And the doctor is what?
Pardon me?
Your doctorate is?
My doctorate is in education,
okay.
So I have my focus is on curriculum design, which is a perfect position here at Explorocean because we truly consider ourselves a hub. Rather than having a great depth of expertise in one particular area, my role is to create curriculum that cover all 7 of these principles and even more. So to that end, we partner with all kinds of entities from USC, the Coastal Commission, Department of Fish and Wildlife, the City of Newport, and we bring in others to help us, really go deep into different concepts. So that's, kind of my background. When they called me and said, here's an opportunity, we need an educational platform, I was just so excited, especially with when they said to me, this job is a blank sheet of paper. And I said, well, if you give me a ream, it's a deal. And so far I filled up probably a truckload of paper with these ideas.
It's such a different classroom.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't, unfortunately today in many of our classrooms is some of the buildings have been tired over time, and they don't have the latest and greatest and everything like that. And I still say in our area there are several different places to go. Explorocean is one of them, the Environmental Nature Center, the farm at the fairgrounds. They give such unique opportunities for kids that live in this
anywhere in Orange County, anywhere in Orange
County. They could still go out and see things that they couldn't see other places.
That's right.
We're going to be at the fair this year, Tom. Did you know that? Lynn, our first time we're a presenting exhibitor. We have a large space out there, and we're going to be there every day the fair is open this year.
That's great.
So for people that maybe can't get down to Explorocean, the Balboa Peninsula, you will see you at the fair.
And is that an educational opportunity or a summer camp opportunity?
Yeah, Wendy?
Above?
Yeah, we're really proud of what we're offering there. As a parent, I have, the two toughest customers. I have an 8 and a 10-year-old that I try everything with first, and if they give me the stamp of approval, we run with it. So at the county fair, I thought about, as a parent, as a consumer, what would people want? It's a fun experience. It can be a long day for families.
Day,
so we wanted to give them a place, that they could come bring their kids, and the kids could, for a good 45 minutes to an hour, do hands-on activities for free. The kids come in they get a little passport, and as they complete certain tasks, they'll get a little stamp, and after they accumulate, undisclosed at this time number of stamps, they'll get a little prize that they can take home.
I love that.
Yeah, so it's a nice way for, families to kind of kick at their heels while their kids go have fun, and we're optimistic that it will be one of their favorite events at the fair.
Well, one of the biggest rites of passage for being a kid in Newport Beach and the surrounding area, I think starts this week, and that's the junior lifeguard program.
Oh yeah.
Where we'll see hundreds of our youth coming down, riding their bikes, and it's always that great time when you first notice them. It kind of
we're all in the red bathing
summer's here.
suits.
That's right. They go by our house every morning.
And we will see them too. Explorocean provides free hands-on activities to the junior lifeguards. We actually joined them out there on the sand. They thought last year, after having a discussion, we realized it would be a nice collaboration to take the kids from learning, about ocean safety and all that they do, and connect it with the science concepts in play. So we've collaborated, and you'll see us out there with them. Maybe not running in the sand, but we'll be doing other fun things.
I love it. Well, we're going to see you next Sunday.
And there's a lot going on the peninsula. I just encourage people that if you're out and about, we take this stuff for granted week in and week out. Get by here. Come by this afternoon. It's a great opportunity to get educated on sustainable seafood.
And taste some.
It looks like they're going to have appetizers, drinks, desserts, sustainable seafood. They've got a really nice venue set up here on the patio of
lots of tables
Explorocean.
and chairs and
Check
things.
it out.
Yeah, for people to come on by and
become a donor.
There's
a lot more to just donating to Explorocean than writing out a check. I think if you were to see it here day in and day out through the weekdays, it's all about kids. It's all about education.
So we'll see you on next Sunday, and we'll look forward to hearing about everything else that's going to be going on. Good luck this afternoon. We're going to hang out and check out the seafood and everything. So if listeners come by and say hello to all of us, and because we're having a great time and it's in the sunshine. So thank you again, and thank you again for supporting KOCI and Sunday Brunch with Tom and Lynn. And to that